Hey folks, welcome back to the Toronto Marlies Insider. The Marlies were facing elimination in a must-win Game 3 on the road at Rochester tonight. Let's take a look. So this is actually the opening face-off in the game, and as you can see, the Rochester Americans actually win the face-off, but look at the press from the Marlies here. Some seriously high pressing. Mark Johnstone putting in 2 or 3 hits in the first 10 seconds. The Americans do fluff their lines, which leads to boom! Pontus Holmberg, 16 seconds in, first goal of the game. Leading up to this series and after both games, the Marlies spoke about the speed of the Americans and not allowing them fast, easy entry into the Marlies zone. Unfortunately, the Marlies had no answer to that in the first 2 games, and this goal here was a carbon copy of a few they've scored already. If we pause it here, you can see Brendan Warren starts behind his own red line, and the first time a Marlies touches him is when he's approaching the face-off circles in the Marlies end. Lucas Rusick then lays off a nice pass to the onrushing Ethan Prow to level things up at 1-1. The second goal was all but fast breakouts yet again. Take a look at the time Dak Metza passes the puck to Warren at 13:34. The puck actually ended up in the Marlies net at 13:29, which is only 5 seconds later. During that time, not one of the American players who were in possession of the puck were touched. The goal was also very soft for Joseph Wall to give away, but allowing a team like Rochester constant easy entry to the D-zone like this is only going to lead to one thing. The third Americans' goal was yet again just all too easy, even if it was on the power play. They kept the puck in their zone for a few seconds before starting their attack at 10:13, and only 8 seconds later this time the puck was in the Marlies net without a Rochester player in possession of the puck being touched again. In fairness, it was a nice bit of composure from Mason Jobs to give Lucas Rusick the easiest of finishes, but again, way too easy for the Americans to get into the Marlies zone, and just not enough pressure and just fight from this Marlies team. Again, another easy zone entry and another goal. Yuri Kulik was allowed to waltz into the Marlies zone here and get a shot off to beat Joseph Wall to make it 4-1, and that's 4 unanswered American goals since conceding early in the first. It actually looks like Matteo Petronero maybe misplays the puck or overshoots it here, which does give Kulik a cheap possession which leads to the goal. But at this stage of the playoffs, these mistakes cannot happen. Petronero has to either make that puck or get out to Kulik before he gets the shot off. Either way, 4-1 Americans. The Marlies did pull one back with a power play goal from Pontus Holmberg. You'll have to excuse the terrible footage here. The Americans were in charge of the broadcast and didn't catch the goal clearly or show any replays on the feed. Regardless of that, the Marlies pulled one back to make it 4-2 with Holmberg's second of the night, which could and should have been the spark for a fight back. Noel Hoffenmeyer received a penalty for a very petulant cross-check, which put the Americans back on the power play, and after passing it around up high for a bit, Isaac Rosain sniped a one-timer past Joseph Wall in the Marlies net to restore the 3-goal lead. Having reviewed all the goals a few times, we're certain that Wall would like at least 3, maybe 4 of them back, and would be expecting himself to save those about 90% of the time. Now this is more like the Marlies team that we're used to seeing all year. Fast play with clinical goal scoring. Captain Logan Shaw made the initial entry from the pass from Holmberg and managed to hold on to it and do some good work behind the goal, and he laid the puck off to Holmberg, who registered his 3rd goal of the game to reduce the deficit again to 2. This one had a hint of unluckiness to it. Mac Hollowell blew a tyre here, which gave Tyson Kozik lots of time to pick out the onrushing Jobst. Jobst then made another nice play to Rosain, and Rosain had the easiest of finishes to kill any momentum that the Marlies had as a result of Holmberg's hat-trick. The Marlies pulled back a consolation goal and Topi Niemela made it 6-4 with just over 6 minutes remaining. It did make things just a little bit more interesting, but not for too long. After Hoffenmeyer took another silly penalty, the Americans put the tie to bed with their 3rd power play goal. The Americans went 3 for 3 tonight on the power play. Staying out of the box was actually something Greg Moore has said that the team spoke about. So if the team avoided those 3 goals, this could have been a completely different game. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Ethan Prow sent a slap shot past Joseph Wall in the net with just under 4 minutes left. And to add insult to injury, the Americans then added an empty netter with only 24 seconds remaining. Matt Bartowski with a shot from high to end the tie and send the Americans into the Eastern Conference Finals against the Hershey Bears. Well, I guess that's that, Marlies fans. We'll be seeing you back at the Coliseum in September. But stick around and make sure you check out our cool, exciting content over the summer. And if you like our coverage of this season's games, make sure to like and subscribe.